What's going on, guys? I'm Cody Fisher. I'm a fabricator welder at Firepunk Diesel, and today we're going to do a little bit of a truck feature, kind of give you guys a little overview of my personal truck. This truck I bought about 5 years ago, and this was my second truck. I had a truck previous to that. I had a 99 24 valve truck that I dumped all my money into, and I've kind of always had the diesel bug, and that truck actually ended up having a engine fire and the whole truck burnt to the ground. So I actually catch a lot of crap from my friends about it, because this truck was actually a salvage title. It did not run when I bought it. The transfer case had actually exploded in it. So, and when that happens, it took out a wiring harness, it caught on fire, did a bunch of bad stuff. So I bought the truck not running, and I've turned it into something that's a daily driver for me. So the first year that I bought this truck, or the first year that I had it, when it was it was wrecked, it was salvaged, it was on fire, it was a complete wreck when I got it. So I was my first year of college. Financially I was somewhat stable, but I didn't want to pour a bunch of money into it like my last one. So my goal was originally just to get it running. The whole truck, it was basically stock, had a stock transmission in it, had EFI actually from Firepunk. This is long before I worked here. I knew of Levon and everybody here. I just didn't have any relation with them. So I actually I put a transfer case in it, drive shafts, a wiring harness, and just small stuff to get the truck roadworthy. I had new wheels and tires on it at the time. I had a set of 20x10 Novocaines. They were my favorite wheels. I still wish I would have never got rid of them. But that was how I drove it for about 6-8 months. And well, it was probably closer to a year actually I drove it like that. I ended up getting it retuned, and from there I wanted a little bit more power. I didn't want anything crazy because I still wanted to drive it every day. So I ended up going with a stainless diesel manifold, a 67.7 8390 S400 is what I ended up going with, and I put that on. The truck still had stock fuel. It had a FAS on it. That was all it had. So I guess that's how I drove it for about a year. And then after that, I actually took a job working down in Cincinnati. I worked at a machine shop down there, and from there it's kind of where it turned to what it is now. I went out to lunch one day and I did a burnout, not like a smart kid would do, and it actually dropped 2 valves. When it did that, it obviously completely destroyed my engine. So at that point, I had a 2008 Chevy 1500 was what I drove every day, and I had basically no money. I had moved out on my own, and the truck basically sat. I had the engine out of it and apart, but it needed machine work, needed a new head, it needed a bunch of stuff. I kind of looked at my options on what I wanted to do with it, and I ended up getting the block machine. It's a 40/5.9, so that's where the block wise is. I ended up getting a new head from D&J. It's a stage 2 head. It has billet rods in it now, a girdle, and it has a Hamilton 188 220 cam in it. The build itself, bottom end wise, is nothing fancy. I mean, these were parts a lot. Drew did a good amount of. He did the cylinder head, a couple of his parts for his girdle, and miscellaneous parts like that. So, and this was built over about a year and a half worth of time that the truck basically just sat, and I accumulated parts. And in the meantime, I ended up moving back home, quit the job down there, and that's when I started Firepunk. And I actually had the engine more or less all ready together by the time I started here. So that was, it kind of made me want to get my truck running and going racing more. I've always had that bug to go fast. I've been pulling my whole life. So it was, from there forward, it's kind of just went overkill almost with it. Not necessarily overkill, but I put a lot more money than I was initially expecting. So I guess with the truck now, it actually has, so fuel wise on it, it has a single Exergy 14mm race pump on it. It's got a set of 275% Exergy injectors. It still has the FAS 150 on it. It's a relative basic setup. It drives like a normal truck would almost. So for air side, it has a forced inductions 476 9610. This was a little bit, I wanted to keep with, after I had a truck to drive and I knew I was living closer to home, I knew I could make a little bit more power because I didn't need it to be as necessarily guess you could say, reliable. I still wanted to drive I wanted to be able to drive the truck to all the events, everything. You know, I wanted to be able to hop in it and go, but I wanted a little bit more power. I was shooting a relative around 1,000 horsepower. So it has the forced inductions turbo on it, and it is, you know, it has done everything and more than what I've wanted. I kind of just, you know, made power and wanted some more, and so that's what it ended up with. It actually, final number wise, the most it has made is, it made 1403 and 1900 and some foot-pounds of torque. That was with that was a 52 jet of nitrous on it. Power wise, that is what it makes. And people always kind of ask us if, you know, we drive the trucks and this kind of stuff. And, you know, I drive the truck all over the place, but I still, you know, I still break an ungodly amount of stuff. Ask, you know, any of my friends, family, whoever, that, you know, we still break a lot of stuff. You know, we test a bunch of stuff. So the transmission side of the truck, you know, we do a lot of testing and R&D that a lot of people don't see. So with this truck, you know, I had talked to Phil from Diesel Performance Converters, and I actually have one of his quad disc converters in it, and I am testing one of his fat inputs. So I'm testing just a lot of random parts in it. It's got a fat input, it's got billet intermediate, and a fat out, you know, output shaft. And, you know, we try to test a lot of stuff, so we give, you know, our customers the best, you know, possible pieces that they can have in their truck and be more reliable. And we'd rather break our stuff than, you know, our customers. So that is kind of the transmission side of it. It has dual coolers on it. I actually have the factory heat exchanger is deleted. I took everything on that side of the truck out, just I wanted to clean up the engine bay some more. So I kind of do a little bit of everything with the truck. You know, I mean, with it being a big single turbo truck, I can't pull in any, I guess, sanctioned sled pull organization. I can't pull work stock 2.5, anything like that, because my turbo doesn't plug and yada yada on that. But I wasn't really concerned about that. I wanted, you know, a truck that I could drive anywhere, make a big number, beat cars, do whatever. So I raced some ODSS with it. I don't really race it as much as I would like, because I actually drive a Charity Case, which is the, I guess you could call it the shop 590 truck. It's a regular cab long bed 2-wheel drive truck that we actually have the power plant out of our old Pro Street truck in it. And this was all put together. It was originally a 12-valve power plant in it, and we actually put a common rail in it, a big set of compounds on it, and it is a lot of fun. I mean, that's what I've been doing all this year. So I actually have not raced my truck in ODSS at all this year. Since the truck's been together, I've dirt dragged a lot with it. I've broke a lot of transmissions with it, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But the fastest it's been, I've never actually made a full out pass on it. It's went low 690s. I know the truck has a lot more in it. I just have not actually had time to go to the track and just run it all out. I've never ran a quarter-mile pass in it. So that's kind of where it's at. Hopefully sometime this year I get to do that with it. But I also, you know, we go, I guess, to what you could say Mexico a lot with it, and we have taken it on radials to a couple local-ish spots, and we've raced GTRs with it, Corvettes, anything under the sun. You know, I'll race anything with it. It's just, that's the whole, you know, the fun part about it. You can take a 7,000-pound diesel truck that, you know, it's 4-wheel drive, it's 4 doors, it's got a bed on it. I mean, a lot of people don't really expect anything like that. So it's a lot of fun going down there and just whooping up on a bunch of cars. But that's basically what I do with the truck. You know, it's nothing too crazy, as you can probably see from pictures and stuff of it, that it is not a perfect truck. I mean, you know, it has dings and dents, and when I had initially taken the engine out of it, I had actually put tape on the fenders, just painter's tape to protect the fenders from, you know, getting my belt buckle and stuff on them, or, you know, scratching it. And I actually rolled the truck outside and I left it out there, and it rained on it, and it actually peeled the clear coat off. So that was a big joke around here for a long time of me just not, or, you know, just having the worst possible luck I could with it. So, you know, I had to get the fenders repainted, the hood, I put a new grill on it, had the bumper redone, just a bunch of just odds and ends stuff. But it's got more scratches and dings and dents from rock chips and that kind of stuff on it that, you know, a lot of people don't see. So it's more or less a daily driven truck that, you know, gets beat on and ragged on, has trash in it. I mean, I try to keep it as clean as possible, but you know, it's kind of hard. Some of my future plans with the truck, something that I've really always wanted to do, you know, I've followed Diesel Power Challenge and been a a diesel oriented, nut my entire life. I mean, I've always loved it, the persona about it, everybody associated with it. But my big thing that I really want to do with the truck is do diesel power challenge. It's something that, you get nothing out of necessarily winning it. There's no big cash prize to it, and it is a full driver, and it takes a lot incorporated into just going out to one event. And I wanted to do it in years past, and I just didn't. I knew in myself that my truck needed different parts that I didn't have the money for to be competitive and have the best possible chance at winning. So this next year, this winter, I plan on having, it has a 5.9 in it currently, but I really want to go to a 6.7. I want to go to a deck plate engine. That's kind of my long-term goal with it. Something that can make 2,000 horsepower and I still drive it. That is more or less the long-term goal, which sounds almost kind of dumb, but it is something that, it is one of a kind. There's not many trucks like that out there that you can make that kind of number and go drive around. So diesel power challenge is definitely in my vision of what I would like to do with it. That's a big thing that I want to do. I really want to have fun with it. That's all what it's all about. So that's what I want to do. So I hope you guys like the feature of my personal truck and kind of the story in the background behind it. And if you guys are interested in any of, this is one of our new design shirts that we have. You can go to shop.firepunk.com. We have tons of new merchandise. We have new shirt designs, new hats. A lot of that stuff, all that stuff's up on the website. So if you guys are interested, go check it out.